2013 FAA Federal Assistance Grant for the design phase of the turf runway. The initial estimate that we had was $46,600. The amount that we are thinking is going to be now is $116,450,000. The main reason for the increase is FAA came back and said that we had originally asked for categorical exclusions on environmental, and they came back and said that's not going to work. We're going to have to do full environmental studies, and Garver Engineering can go a little bit further into detail on that if you want to, but bottom line is that's going to cost about $48,000 to do that because that land has never been developed. So we're going to have to go through and make sure that there's nothing there that's going to be disturbed, environmental, and that's expensive. Categorical exclusion is relatively inexpensive and doesn't require a lot of extra work. This requires a lot of extra paperwork and it requires us to go through a lot of extra steps to make sure that that gets done. But because it's never been developed, it's never been, so to speak, virgin land, never been developed, the FAA is going to require us to go through that process. And we didn't find that out until recently.
So there's already a turf runway there at one time?
Not on this spot.
There was one closer.
There was one closer, but not where we're putting this one.
So the theory of relativity doesn't apply.
Yeah.
We tried the theory of relativity and proximity, and no, sir. Yeah.
So this is all in the ground, environmental. I mean, we're not worried about air or anything flying above it or anything like that.
It has a little bit to do with air as well, but most of it is in the ground or on the ground, of wildlife, of historical artifacts, wetlands determination. You have to do the field studies as well as the cultural and architectural and archaeological studies, full-blown studies.
So this would all be under your jurisdiction, and you would
Yes.
sub out to those various facets then, or do you do this?
No, we have an environmental specialist on Garver's staff that does these for both, like a DOT work for new right-of-way acquisition as well as for their airport. So he would come over and do these studies, prepare the report, and then we get it submitted to FAA for their blessing. I do not anticipate finding anything in this phase 1 environmental assessment, but should we find something, then that report would also have recommendations for any remediation or removal or something that would be required. There is a little bit of air in there as far as noise impact because it's a new runway, a new flight path. You know, they plan, even though it's a turf runway, they got to plan it for noise you do have turbine aircraft here, so somebody could be doing low approaches. So that would be the air side of it, is mainly the noise impacts of the new flight path. As far as airspace, obstructions and other things, that's actually underneath the design portion already, where we do a real simple approach survey, not a full-blown one, but one just enough to identify that you have clear flight path out the 3 miles.
So it's a good thing at this point that really nothing's developed at either end of it. So
Yeah.
eliminates a lot of hassle in that regard, though.
Yeah, I really don't expect, and again, that's why we went after the categorical exclusion, where it's a very cursory study and submit, because there is nothing there, but again, as Joe Don said, being that it's never been touched, the FAA just wants to have assurances that it is clean, so they kicked it to that next step.
Okay.
Sounds like a huge amount of expensive red tape to me
Yes, sir.
for a wheat field.
Yeah, for a wheat field with no oil on it, no history, you know. But I guess we did have a POW camp out there at one time, so there is some history that they do want to have
You might find some sewer
investigated.
lines or some footings, but
Or
that'd be about it.
Fence line foundation of one of the old barracks or something. So there is a possibility without a more in-depth study. So that's what we'll look at.
The applicant portion of that total of $116,450. The applicant portion of it, which is us, is going to be $11,645, and that will be factored into budget.
But we had budgeted, what, 16,000 for grant, 5% grant, right?
Right.
That was in anticipation of something like this, correct?
Yes. And that will take care of part of this, and the rest of it will be factored into as this grant rolls into next budget year. We'll be factored into part of next budget year also.
So this is, as I anticipate, since this is the 2013, I assume that this is a year-long analysis and study and site development to get ready for something more extensive in 2014.
2014 should be the construction part of it. That'll be the bidding and construction. Hopefully that can occur in the summer of next year, which isn't that far away, but it depends on when Congress passes a budget and gives FAA money and when that would actually occur. This year that didn't occur until August, but I would expect, you know, July, August is when of 2014 is when dirt would actually start turning on the turf runway, and then the construction shouldn't be that long of a period.
But we're not anticipating needing any more matching grant funds for this fiscal year for us.
No, this is the.
This would be the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have, and if I remember reading the budget right, we have the money in the budget for that.
Yeah.
You're comfortable that we won't find any blind cave salamanders or nesting spotted owls?
I do not believe we will. The archaeological, historical things are actually the greatest concern to me, and I don't think there's a high probability of that. But
Paul, are you aware of the footings or other structures?
I actually have drawings of the camp, the original drawings, and I don't think you're going to find anything.
Yeah.
Most of that was ripped out in the 50s after the camp had disbanded, and because there was a racetrack and other stuff over there.
Right.
It's been farmed for so long that anything that has surfaced would have been pulled out.
Yeah.
You know, short of a ancient Native American burial ground that nobody is aware of, I don't know of anything to find about it.
And our studies are not, we're not going 20 feet down in the ground or disturbing. It's just what you would expect we're building up a turf runway and leveling ground. So I think to answer your question, I think we're in great shape, but I can't give you any assurances until the report's complete.
Well, I do this, Paul, as our resident POW historian, you have knowledge of that area. You're not aware of any interments that were made?
There were. It was, if you remember the old flag that the old windsock used to be out here before we added the new runway, that's about where the cemetery used to be. And at the end of the war, everybody was dug up and sent back home. There was about 7 burials there, if I remember right.
Okay.
So, well, I make the motion that we recommend to the City Council that they sign this application for the federal assistance in the amount of $116,450 for the design phase of the turf runway.
I'll second.